Hello everyone and welcome back to Age of Nagash, which is a channel dedicated to Age of Sigmar. And in this video we're going to kick off a new series talking about the lore of the Nighthaunt. As I haven't done a lore video for a while and I thought it would be quite nice to do one, and who better to talk about than you do have the Stormcast, but obviously I'm going to go with the Nighthaunt because this is Age of Nagash and death comes first. Sigmar is always and shall be trumped by Nagash. So, to start off with our lore series on the Nighthaunt, we're going to talk about that which haunts the night. An indomitable new malevolence has stirred an ancient terror. No longer content to hunt in civilization edges, phantasmal forces gather into spectral armies. This is no mere haunting, but a shock assault that seeks nothing less than to destroy life itself. A fell wind is rising. From the darkest pits of Shaiish, the realm of death, comes a storm of ethereal figures. An eerie mist spreads before them, blotting out the sun. They muster upon corpse-strewed battlefields or ancient burial grounds, a ghostly army of phantoms. They are the supernatural, the dead, the damned, the Nighthaunts. Sustained by a famous hatred for the living, these race fight to send fresh souls screaming down into the darkened realms from whence the dead emerged, taking cruel pleasure in knowing the torments that await their victims below, and by the manner of their death shall ye know them. The malign spirits of the Nighthaunts are the horrors that haunt the periphery, terrors that prowl beyond life's edge. They wait with the patience of the ethereal, yet their hunger drives them with insatiable needs to hunt, to harm, to destroy life, for that is all that is left to them. They come in many forms, but all are destined forever stalk the mortal realms and to drag the living to the same doom. The Nighthaunts have not only lost their lives, but also their physical bodies. While mortal flesh rots away, the spirit lives, taking on a new, phantasmal aspect. Whatever blissful underworld rests or eternal peace that was once promised to these souls has turned out to be naught but lies. Instead, Nighthaunts are fated with afterlives of damnation, stripped of any compassion they had before death, all warmth in eradication, leaving behind only the negative. What remains of their spirit is bitter, hate-filled, and bound by necromancy, often in some cruelly iconic way linked to either their deaths or their deeds in life. They must forever haunt the mortal realms to seek out and punish those who dare to still live. Glowing with a fell light, the Nighthaunts are a bone-chilling sight. They appear numerous and insubstantially, able to hover weightlessly in the air or pass through solid obstacles. A Nighthaunt can glide without pause straight through a wall, as a man might stride unimpeded through light fog. Unless guided by supreme faith, enemy blades and arrows pass harmlessly through the Nighthaunts in corporeal forms. Only those that can still their minds and drive out the deepest fears can stand against such supernatural horrors. It takes the utmost courage to wield a weapon to pierce a phantom. In return, the chill blades of the Nighthaunts reap a deadly toll upon the living. Skeletal hands reach out, ignoring armor, flesh, and bone, alike to grasp a foe's heart. The fear and confusion that emanates from each of the unholy geists rob the enemy of their physical strength just as it saps their conviction. Though almost impervious to physical harm, Nighthaunts carry with them their own hell. Some are cursed by the dark manner of their death. For instance, those who met their ends in chains might have hoped to escape their captivity in the afterlife, yet in the spiritual underworld are bound by more manacles than ever. Others find their deeds in life turn against them. A mortal who spent a lifetime healing and nurturing might find that as a spirit they can only wantonly destroy. Such morbid rewards fill the Nighthaunts with rage and hatred. The perpetrator of these eternal torments is none other than Nagash, god of the underworlds, the great necromancer, the supreme lord of the undead, and self-proclaimed ruler of Shaiish. Nagash finds the twisted irony he has inflicted to be naught but poetic justice. His vindictive nature, limitless spite, and unending ego have created the most terrible of spirits, geists, and wraiths. A single Nighthaunt might terrorize a village, and a pair acting together could leave an entire fieldom quaking in fear. When gathered en masse and united beneath a greater undead spirit, such an army can destroy an empire and become the stuff of dire legends. Nighthaunt armies are known as processions. Fear runs before them, as tangible as the unnatural mist that rises from the ground. The air grows chill, and then, from out of nowhere they come, riding on the wind. They surge over the land like a phantasmal wave. Some of the wraithly host ride upon spectral steeds, their hooves never touching the earth, but leaving footprints of cold fire. In the skies, horrible lurching shapes hover, moving in disjointed fashion, but travelling terribly fast for all that. These are rank after rank of ethereal crooked-backed things, cruel creatures brandishing tall glaives. Others come in chains, rattling and moaning. Ghastly aspirations leer from tattered hoods. Spectral scythes sweep forward, while mind-splitting howls and harrowing shrieks echo through the gloom. Many foes flee at first sight of the Nighthaunt procession. Others hold their ground for a time, but it does not take long before senses sharpened by fear begin to make sinuous shapes moving in the flickering fog. Panicking defenders leap at every new swirl they are right to. Clawed talons reach out, phantom riders appear out of the sinister vapours, and spirits materialize from unexpected quarters, drifting through trees or over untravelable moats. The Nighthaunt onslaught is not merely a physical assault, but a psychological one as well, and only the bravest dare to stand before them. The rising threat of the Nighthaunts was once where the stuff of myths and fables, tales told of Pacific hauntings, such as bloody-handed Baron that stalked the ruins of Forlorn Castle, or spine-chilling events like the return of the Shrill Sisters, who came back to massacre the village that burnt them as witches. Every region of the mortal realms could boast blood-curdling tales or geists, haunted sites. In addition to these lone revenants, Nighthaunts could also be seen bound to the surface of a necromancer or soul-blight vampire, but most stalk the lands of the living purely under their own cruel hate for the living. That was before the cataclysm events in Shyish opened up a nightmare. Nighthaunts flooded the mortal realms, rising up unexpectedly to strike fear in the hearts of all mortal creatures. Seeing the effectiveness of these sudden shock attacks, Nagash organized a new wing of his legions. The Nighthaunts would be his outriders of horror. The first wave for the long-planned Soul Wars. To command this new vanguard of terror, Nagash appointed a new leader, Lady Orlana, Mortarch of Grief. So that was an introduction of the Nighthaunt and basically, where they came from and in relation to the great cataclysm that Nagash caused back in malign portents. So as we've got a little bit of a start now, I'm going to go into a little bit of a story just to add some realism to the Nighthaunts within the realms of Age of Sigmar. With amazement, the guards of Griffin Tower watched one of their brethren stagger out of the forest. Opening the shim-filled portcullis, they raced out to aid the injured warrior, who by his armour and marking was part of the vanguard hunter retinue. That but his helm was missing, and his haggard face told a tale of agony and terror. Struggling against those who sought to hold him up, the Stormcast seemed not to recognize them at first. Then his wide eyes appeared to focus, and he struggled to say something, but for minutes no words came. "They are coming," he spoke at last, his face conveying pure horror, and then his final message delivered, he could hold on no longer, and was gone. His body shifted to azure light, a beam that blinked up to the heavens, leaving no trace. "I have never seen a foe cause so much fear in one of us," said Metellus. What could it be? The question stood unanswered, as one of the liberators returned to the gatehouse with many glances cast towards the black forest behind them. "Whatever is coming," said Liberator Augustus, "they will find they can't get past us and the walls of Griffin Tower." As the enchanted portcullis shut behind them, a chill wind swept from the north, the air itself seeming to moan in protest. A mist rose impossibly fast, as its unnatural green tinge swirls seeming to hide anomalous shapes. A horn of Azir sounded. From the top of the tower came the unforgettable sound of the long-strike crossbows opening fire. Even as the Liberator peered out into the fog, the foe was upon them. Charging through the walls came coward spectrals, brandishing gleaming scythes, grinning skeletal apparitions, weathered in baleful fire, were the last thing the Stormcast Eternals saw before they vanished back to Sigmaron, to be remade anew. Soon no defender stood between the Nighthaunts and the township beyond the tower walls. So that was just a little bit of a short story, just to, like I say, add a little bit of realism to the horror that the Nighthaunts pose upon the mortal realms. And then a little bit of a summary. From out of the rising fog comes a deathly procession of Shaiish. They are the riders in the dark, the takers of souls, the Nighthaunts. By the time the wraiths emerge from the mist, it is too late. Too late for protective rhymes. Too late for the sign of the hammer. All is macabre, all is death. Ask not for whom the Reaper comes. He comes for thee. So yeah, just a little bit of basic introduction lore to the Nighthaunts there. I think it's a good little bit there from the battle tome, and it's nice as it gives a sort of a feel to an army which before, I don't know what, a month ago, maybe a couple months ago, if you're talking about the Warhammer Fest, this army before that had like very little lore going for it. I mean, I think I did like a lore video for them, or I just did like an army video for them where I talked about the lore, but it was very, very tiny, and there's nothing compared to what they've got now. So it's nice that they've sort of started afresh, and they've got so much different lore to them now. It's not just like, they're spooky ghosts and they hate the living. There's a lot more to it, and then it gives examples of like that little story of the Griffin Tower. Like I say, just adds a little bit of realism to what they're actually like in the narrative of Age of Sigmar. So yeah, that's where I'm going to end the video. It's just, like I say, an introduction to the Nighthaunts. I will plan to do more lore videos for the Nighthaunts, and hopefully with them I'll definitely be able to do one a week, maybe two. We'll see how that goes, but I will probably prioritize that for my next few videos, I think, as it'll be nice to get a series going for the Nighthaunt, and in particularly lore, because like I said, I haven't done lore videos for a while, so it's nice to get back into that. And yeah, so I hope you've enjoyed this short video. If you have, please like, subscribe and comment down below. Also let me know if there's any ideas you guys would like to see for any videos for the channel to make, and also tell me what are your thoughts about the lore and the Nighthaunts. If you've got any question of them, just let me know down in the comments. So again, I thank you all very much for watching this, and until next time, remember, Nagash is all, and all is one in Nagash.